I forgot about all this cool stuff to show you guys, so I'm gonna grab the box here, and we're getting a full reveal here of the stack of OC stacker here. So that's pretty exciting. I know everybody's been asking for that, so stacker here.
Let me mute my
Oh,
computer in the background.
yeah, your computer there. So.
Yep, got it. I had to wait
All
for
right,
you to go
that'll be
live
good.
before I could touch the volume. Okay, good enough.
So yeah, I was talking to Tiger Stacker a little bit ago. That took a little too much time, guys. Sorry. Didn't give me enough time to get ready for this. But let me get my computer on because I'm finding out in this format, there's no way for me to leave a comment. I can't type anything here. There's no possibility of that. So let's see if I can get my computer over to the side here. That way I can type things if we want to do anything with me typing. So there we go. So what we're going to talk about today is silver, guys. We'll talk a little bit about gold too, if you've got some gold questions. But the reality is there's a lot of stuff going on about silver. I know a lot of you have silver, and a lot of you are concerned that we're going to see prices go way down. People on X have been talking about silver going back down to $15. Yeah, that would be nice, but I don't think there's any way that's going to happen. And the other thing that I think is going to be a little bit crazy here is how long it might take for us to kind of consolidate here. We'll talk about that. Is that going to be something that happens long, or are we going to see prices skyrocket this week? So we're going to talk about that as well. And then the other thing I want to chat with you guys on too here. Let me just get my lighting better here. The other thing we're going to chat about too is what are some of the best ways to stack. I'm going to show another cool piece that I got in from Singapore. Let's see. We'll do another cool piece here today. I don't even know what this thing is, but we'll do this. So it's all the way upside down. There's Spectres. So we'll do an unboxing of that, and then I'll do some videos on these specifically as well. And then OC Stacker set up a huge table of stuff, but you can only see a sliver of it because of the format we're on. So he'll show you guys a few different things. He's picked up some stuff recently too. But what I want to hear from you guys is this. So first off, double tap the screen. That makes sure that the thumbs up hits. Okay, it's a little bit of a different format for us. One of the reasons I'm doing this is YouTube is highly promoting this. These videos are getting about 5 times the amount of views as they normally do. And they show this on the shorts feed, as well as the shorts live feed and the regular live feed. And it'll go to anybody that's a subscriber. So, hit the subscribe, hit the bell icon, double tap the screen, does thumbs up. If we get to 100 thumbs up, we'll do some giveaways. If you guys have won giveaways, they've all been shipped, every one of them. But it takes time. I wish this was my full-time thing, and this is something I could do. This is a community service, if anything, right? I hope to make money from this one of these days. Right now, any money that comes in goes back out to the community in this or creating content. Last year, I'm in the hole like thousands and thousands of dollars doing this. My wife's telling me I got to be a little careful with doing too much of that, but we're going to try to get gauze out here and there. We're going to do some fun celebrations, and we'll have fun doing this. So hit the thumbs up, and we'll keep it going. Some more people get in here. But what I want to hear from you guys is this: do you think that the silver price on Friday, so the end of the month, is going to be above 50 or below 50? Okay. And I don't even know how Silver Heist did it. I don't even see a way to even do a like a survey on here. Let me see if I can figure that out. But anyway, I'd love to see what you guys think. What's the silver price going to be on Friday, which is the end of the month? Are they going to allow it to close at 50 or above? Or are they going to slam that down? And let me see if I can do. I'm going to try this real quick. It limits us on this. We're not able to do StreamYard. It's just YouTube. But let me see. I think there's a way for me to do this. Okay, I'm going to create a poll here. So All right, I'm just typing this. Silver at or above 50. Silver at or below, I'm going to say $45. All right, so there's the question. I've got a poll, so take the poll here. It should come up in just a second. I want to see what your guys' thoughts are. The other thing we're going to do here too is I am going to put in, let me see if I can put in a challenge here. Oh, maybe it doesn't let me do that on this. Okay. The other thing we'll do is if we get up to $100 in super chats or stickers, we'll do a 1 ounce silver giveaway. If we get up to 100 thumbs up, we'll do another silver giveaway. If we get up to 200 thumbs up, we'll do even more silver. So anyway, that's what I'd like to kind of hit with you guys is we're going to talk about silver today. So I had a video drop earlier today with Eric, King Kong Eric, and he was talking pretty heavily about silver in there. I don't want to give it away. You guys will have to go watch the video. But basically, there's a lot of things going on with India in the United States and silver. So that video is going to be very interesting for you guys to go follow. There's also some crazy news going on about India. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the rumor is, and then I checked it with AI and it confirmed it, that India is looking at some time period, I think it's next year, where they're looking to, I think it's bonds that they're going to give out that are going to be 10 to 1 with gold for silver, which could be pretty incredible. So I don't exactly know what that's going to do yet. I need to do more research on it. But if we can get down to the real mining ratio of gold to silver, I'm probably going to wish I don't have any gold and it's all silver. But there's a reason I still have gold. All right, so you guys fill out that poll. Right now we're at, let's see, I don't know. Let me see if I can figure out this poll. All right, we got 34 votes. We've got 63 of you, 71 of you in here. So go ahead and fill out that poll, and I'm curious to see where it's at. We're gonna go into that, and then if we get up to 100 thumbs up, we'll do a silver giveaway. If we get up to $100, we'll do a 1 ounce silver giveaway. But Tiger Stacker, thank you for the $5 super chat. Surfer is a trader, gave up on Tiger now, hanging with gorillas. Bad surfer. So he doesn't like that I was. He does like I'm still dealing with jungle animals, but he wants to get another interview, I think. All right, so I'm going to go back to what I can see at the beginning here. I want to see what you guys are saying. This is Ask Surfer. So put your questions in caps if you can. Put a question mark at the end so I can see what those are. But this is going to be an Ask Surfer session, and we have a special guest next to us here at OC Stackers. So OC Stackers, I go looking through the comments here real quick. What do you have on here that you bought recently that's pretty cool? Show us.
Well, nothing's really a recent. Well, it came today. I bought it last week.
That's pretty
The
recent.
the fake Morgans right in front, right there, and then in the back, the box that the turtle is sitting on. That's a APMEX 1 ounce bars. I just didn't feel like dragging them all out. But the two pieces that have the art on them, that is a oh Lord, what's the name of the mint that puts stuff out all the time? Oh my gosh.
Which one?
The sterling silver, the pieces that are in front, the religious
Oh
ones.
yeah. I don't know. I don't have. Well, I have a little bit of sterling silver, but not much. But not any
Yeah.
coins or rounds or anything.
Yeah, that set had 58 coins in it, and I had 3 complete sets that I sold um, at the coin shows because everybody fell in love with them. And so I had one set that we picked, basically took all the ones that were missing, and so I just have a whole. I think I'm 15 short, so I just hung on to them. So just something different to show people. I hate to mull these out.
So we'll have you show some of that. So let's do this too, guys. So I'm looking in here, a couple things in the title. Is the silver squeeze over? So here's the deal. I don't want to give you all the details. You got to go watch the video that has the gorilla guy on it. So Eric Young from Hong Kong to get more details about it. But here's the deal. Basically, we flew a bunch of silver from the COMEX to the LBMA because there was a huge amount of demand for physical silver at the LBMA, and it basically was about to shut the thing down. If that gets shut down and people can't get their silver out, we have a bigger problem in general, and it really could cause a silver squeeze. So I would say we were about this close to having a real substantial silver squeeze. And in a way, you could say we did have one because a lot of silver was jumping up in price very quickly. Same with gold. I don't know what people really expect out of a big silver squeeze if they're looking for like a price doubling. But we were pretty close to having an official meltdown at the LBMA. So in that video, we talk a little bit about that. We talk about who's probably taking the silver out and why would we give it to them in the first place. So here's the thing that I'm very disappointed in with our current government in general and the people of the country. I'll just put it out that way. We don't see the value of silver. We don't see the value of gold. And so we continue to have these conversations around crypto. Let's do a strategic crypto reserve. I don't know why in the world you would do a strategic crypto reserve around Bitcoin. I'm in technology. I work for a software company. And I can tell you that every multiple times a year, people update their software and they come out with something better. They're going to come out with something better than Bitcoin, and a lot of people claim that those things are already out there, and so people are just clinging on to Bitcoin still that gives it value. To go and spend a bunch of U.S. in taxpayer resources to go buy a bunch of Bitcoin and then hope that you can get the rest of the world to adopt it is a little bit silly because that technology gets outdated over time. It's not like gold and silver. Like this stuff that you're seeing here on OC Stacker screen that's made out of silver, that's been used as money for almost 6,000 years. And, there's a reason it's been used as money because it's a precious metal. It has great, you know, um, qualities to it. It's I think it's the shiniest metal that's out there. It's most conductive metal. And so it's one that has been, coveted by people. And then you get to gold and it doesn't corrode at all. And it's a little bit easier to, turn into jewelry. So it's one of those things where the precious metals continue to stay around. They're going to continue to be used up. I think there's value in crypto because people are willing to pay for it. But why do we have so much focus on that when really it should be more focused on gold and silver? And I think that's one of the things the West is totally missing. So will we have a real official silver squeeze? I do think we're going to. I just don't think we're there yet. I think it's something that's been, a kick. The Fed and bankers and everybody else have been able to kind of kick the can down the street. Um, I think we're going to continue to be printing money. I think that's going to happen. But OC, what do you think? Where are things going? Do you think we're ever going to have a silver squeeze? Are we going to, see prices drop? What are your thoughts? What are you seeing out there?
Well, I don't see them taking silver going back and forth anymore. And I saw a question from Amy earlier. I was going to address that worried about the COMEX running out of silver. I think the LVMA will run out before we will, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, um, it's hard to sit here and have a logical discussion about metals when we all know that it's manipulated and what do we think is going to happen. All we can do is look at the financials and see what's going on there to base our opinions on what we think it's going to be at is the best that we can do. Um, I think that with the 10 years of the mines not pulling out what they used to, the gold mining pulling out residual and bonus silver when they pulled it out of the ground, it hasn't made up for all the shortcomings of all the minings that's been going on. So um, I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a silver squeeze, as I would just call it a correction on what the pricing should be. And once it breaks out and the banks can't jack with it anymore, and we start seeing the banks collapsing and all that going on, um, I think everybody here that's in this chat would agree that we are betting that unless they turn the ship around, and stop printing money, that we are doing what we think is best for our family in the future, all being part of being your own bank. So, in a nutshell, that's what I'm looking at. Dollar cost averaging. We say every channel says it that wants to look out for their people that attend. Um, and you can't say that enough. You don't need to go out and buy 100 ounces of silver every 3 weeks to build your stack and do that kind of stuff. I mean, look, I just bought 5 ounces. Big deal. And then then I got the other ones, but there were two different deals. But you just find the deals where they come, and if it makes sense, you spend your allotment for the month, whether it's $20, $200, or $2,000. We are all in the same position. We're at just different levels. That's it. The mentality and how you go about it should all be status quo for all of us. If you can afford two or three, then get two or three. Sometimes it takes. We saw Heist yesterday. He's working on a tube. What's that? Oh, this whole year hasn't filled
Yeah,
it up yet.
10th ounce gold tube.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. And it went from what 340, 360, 380, 400. I was watching it sell today for 470. I watched Whatnot just to see what people are doing and how they spend their money stupidly. So I don't agree with that platform and how they go about it, but people do it and they line up for it. There was over 300 people in this one thing, and the guy was getting crazy money for his medals.
So Matt, we'll talk about that in just a second. I was kind of alluding to that. I needed a little bit more research on it, but what OC Stacker is talking about too is when you look at what's on the screen here at the front end, he's got some sterling silver. He's got a graded, it looks like a peace dollar. I don't know, maybe a turtle or something in the middle. I can't tell exactly.
That is a turtle on a. It's on.
Um,
We had him leave it on a sprue. It kind of looked cool rather than it sitting on the ground. So
yeah.
talked to the artist that did it. Said, "Hey, why don't you leave those on the way?" So we call it the flying turtle. I have
Well,
I have a
I,
couple of them. I think they're just cool.
I think you wanted more silver, is what you wanted.
Well, that's always the end game, but I was in Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stackers live a little bit ago, and they're talking about getting bored with silver and collecting it. I said, at the end of the day, you want to get it as cheap as possible and get as much weight as possible. I've never stopped preaching that. It's when
Yep.
you get carried away. Oh, it's got a whale on it. Oh, it's got a turtle on it. Oh, it's got a Bugs Bunny on it, and I got to pay $10 more for that ounce. I think that's absolutely 100% ridiculous, and I think that's people that are pumping silver, having auctions and all that kind of stuff. The premium just goes in their pocket, for the most part. Me personally, when we do our coin shows and stuff, we don't ever ask for premiums on our stuff. It's a couple of most of the silver we carry is what, a dollar over most of the time. Sometimes it's at
Most
spot.
of the time, but the collectibles I think did help attract a lot of people to the booth to look at them.
Absolutely.
And some of them we would sell, right? You'd find the right person. Like I had it was uh, I think it was like 100-year anniversary of the discovery of the Tutankhamun burial site in Egypt, right, from one of the pyramids. And there was an Egyptian couple that showed up to the Long Beach Coin Show, and I think I paid $250 for this coin, and I knew what it was worth, which was about $500. Maybe $600 is what I could get on it on eBay. And they picked up one Egyptian coin that I had, and they really wanted this one. I lowered it down to $500. I could make a little bit more off of eBay, but you've got a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush, so as the saying goes. And so I said, you know what, if I lower it down to $500, do you guys want this one too? I got to make money off of it. It was a really cool coin. I'd love to keep it, but as OC said, that coin's still worth $500 today. It didn't go up any, even though silver has gone up quite a bit from, I think it was around $28 when we were doing one of the coin shows last.
Yeah, but we're talking
So,
about two different things. There's collectible like that where they hold their
yep.
values, which is great, and just like the Liberty
Well, but
coins that
it
count
did,
like
but it,
gold.
it 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 wouldn't go up. Right now, it still sells for the same amount of money, right? So, if anything, the premiums come down a little bit on it. I think they are selling for about 500 now on eBay, maybe a little bit less. They were up at 600 at one time. I
Hmm.
sold it for 500. I bought it for 250. I made money on it, and I was able to turn that into more ounces of silver. That silver went up more than if I held onto the collectible. Um, do you guys want to see an unboxing? Put a one in the chat if you guys want to see an unboxing of a silver coin. Um, but Mark had a question in here about, is it true that India just bought a year's worth of silver production and pegged silver to 1/10 the price of gold? Uh, AI is saying that it is true. I don't know all the details about it. We'd have to look that up here in a minute. So I can look it up here and kind of give you guys what AI is telling me to confirm. And the reason I'm looking at AI is I don't have the time right now, um, with how much traveling I'm doing to actually do all the research on stuff. I mean, uh, anyway.
Hang on, I'll answer a question while you're doing that.
So let me look that up for us real quick, and then we'll do an unboxing. If you guys put a one in there and you want to see an unboxing, we'll do one of the unboxings. So
Yeah, they
we got
do.
this
I
guy
see a
right
bunch of
here.
ones. But let me address this question. It says, "Fool me twice." It's asking, how many times a day do you check prices? Um, it depends. If my phone's ringing and people need pricing, I check it. If my phone doesn't ring, do I check it? I always check it when I get up to see what's going on. And then I usually don't look at it again until I either hear something or someone calls on pricing, and I'll check it. But other than that, that's about all I check it. Me personally. What about you, Surfer? How often do you check it?
10 to 20 times a day. But it's different for me. I've got a channel, right? So I'm trying to look and see what's going on with stuff. And I'm looking to see if something moves. So, it's a quick check for me. It's not like, um, I'm not freaking out over it. Honestly, I'm buying, right? Like the highest amount of money I've paid for a coin recently would be, I think I bought some Silver Eagles at $51 BU. I still don't think you can buy a Silver Eagle for as cheap as $51 for the most part, at least not in any kind of quantity. And a lot of the other silver I purchased was around $38, and that was just a month ago. So, it continues to move up. My dollar cost averaging can go up a little bit higher potentially. I guess it will drag up a little higher as you buy more at this price.
Hmm.
But here's the deal: like, if you're thinking silver may someday go to $100, I think you're missing the whole point of what's going on with the bull run. Um, I don't think it's will silver hit 100. I think it's when is silver going to hit 100. So I'm not expecting $100 silver this run. I'm expecting closer to like $200 or $300 silver, maybe even as high as 1,000 or $2,000. And those are huge numbers, guys. But if we get to that higher end, that means we've gone into a much more inflationary state. It also means that there's now probably countries fighting over the silver supply. Maybe the LBMA and the COMEX have kind of blown up with their paper silver trades. And you've got a run on silver, so to speak. You would need something like that to get up to those high prices. So I look at that and I say, okay, that could happen in a year. It could happen in 30 years from now. But the point is, I don't think it's going back to $5. And so it's a metal that I want to hold on to. It's a metal I want to give on to my kids, my grandkids. And so therefore, I think it's something that's worthy of buying and holding on to. So to your point, OC, I'm not worried about what the price of the metal is. I'm worried about what the price is relative, or the price of what I want to buy relative to the spot price, relative to what other types of items like that are selling for. So, for example, if I want to buy a Silver Eagle, and I can find 10 of them at $3 below spot, and to go retail and buy those, they're going for $8 over spot. So I have a $10 spread from what they're normally selling for. That looks like it's probably a pretty good time to buy those Eagles, that deal I see. If I wanted to buy 20, I can buy those 10 and I can wait for another deal to come along, or I can go buy, spend a little bit more money to buy the other ones. But I'm always looking at kind of the deal. I'm looking at the premiums. What was it that I think you were saying $200 premium on gold and silver, or on the gold Eagles is what we're starting to see now.
Well, when I went to when you and I were checking around getting prices on stuff, I was talking to a couple of the wholesalers, and they were saying they were getting 150, 160, 180 above spot, selling to coin dealers. I said, well, you know what? They may be saying that, but if you and I are able to get them um, at spot or below, then I can't imagine dealers are. And then when I call the dealers directly, they say, no, we got walk-ins, and even though everything's locked down on silver, they're hitting everybody $2 to $3 back of melt. So if silver's that was at 53, they were buying it at 50. So it made sense. I mean, because look what happened at 53. Look, we're at 48 and some change right now. So you guys are getting a first class lesson on what it's like to be in business. You have to take it back a spot to allow for corrections in the marketplace. Oh wait, I'm sorry, manipulation in the marketplace. So
It's
you
totally
can't
true.
hedge it's hard to hedge against that. So to keep up with everybody, I want to be fair, and I'm usually, if the dealers are at $3, I try to be at $2. I don't have the brick and mortar, I don't have employees, I don't have insurance, maintenance, and other nonsense, so I can do better. But I can't help everybody, and the deals don't always come across my table. Usually between the three of us, most of our deals are usually sucked up between the three of us.
It is, and so I'm looking at a couple of questions as they go along here too, and we're going to talk about the India thing here in a second. I've got it up on my computer here, so I'll move the phone down. Um, there's a lot of things to consider, guys. So for me, it's all about what do I want to convert over? What's my strategy? What's my plan? What do I have in place? And as I build that, I start to look to execute it. So someone mentioned in here that premiums are getting ridiculous on gold buffaloes. Then don't buy them right now. Wait. They used to be. I remember when it was 5% to buy a gold buffalo on the premium, and it was like $100, right? And it was it was about $50 premium to buy a gold eagle just a couple of years ago, and a lot of people were like, I want a buffalo, but I want to pay that. Well, then buy the gold eagle, save $50, right? Um, had you paid more for the buffalo, you'd still be way cheaper into the buffalo than buying it today. So it's all relative to what the market's doing at the moment and what's going on. What I can tell is everything from the charts show us that we're entering. Well, we've been in a bull market for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now, beginning phases. So let's say once we pass $2,000 is really kind of where it started. Maybe you could argue $1,800, but 2,000 was more the psychological level. Um, and I've heard from people it's going to double. So we get to 4,000, it's done that, and then it's going to double again. That gets us to 8,000, and then another double could get us to 16,000. So those aren't like numbers that I'm just making up or putting out there. It's not numbers to try to get you guys to rush into these things. We're not doing that.
Not at all.
This is what happens in a bull run is you can have anywhere from a 3 to a 10x on the metals. And it depends on what goes on in the market. The higher that goes up, the higher the chances that it comes down as well at the end of it. But we look to be potentially at the end of the currency cycle for the US dollar being the dominant world reserve. And if that changes, it's going to change a lot of things. So your gold priced in dollars is going to get super, super high. Your income's probably not going to keep up with inflation anywhere close to it. And what you're going to start to see is you're just not going to have enough purchasing power. But if you bought gold and silver, those metals tend to go up with inflation and they tend to go up in times of uncertainty. So I think that it can always get better. And then you get things like these Engelhart bars that are really cool too. And so here's a question for you guys: put a 3 in the chat, number 3, if you would prefer getting something vintage like that Engelhart bar, or buying modern coins today. Like what do you guys like? So put a 3 in if you like the vintage. Put a 4 in if you like more of just the modern stuff that just comes out this year.
And that Engelhart bar, I put that out there for a reason. I bought that at $2 back a spot to show people this collector stuff, and you want a certain style. It's I'm trying to put this nicely as possible. That at the end of the day, and I addressed um, trapped in New York statement. I wrote my comment in the chat that he would never sell his silver below spot, and that's what's nice about what we're all doing here right now. We're all chatting with each other. We have almost 100 people in here. that there's other people in this community that says, hey, I need to sell my silver. What's the best I can do? You can go to your LCS and they're gonna hit you $2-3 back. You call Surfer and I and a few of other friends that hang out with us. We're always gonna do better than the LCSs because we don't have the overhead. But when people need money and they got or medical issues that come up, my phone rings for every kind of reason under the sun. We're buying a house, we're having a baby, hot water heater went out, my house needs a roof, my car needs a $3,000 transmission, frostbite coins. There's always something that comes up in people's lives where you gotta our stacks are there for a rainy day. And some of us are fortunate that we haven't had to sell it. We've been able to stack steadily throughout these years. There's other people that I've met people that have built their stacks up and had to get rid of, two, three, $4,000 worth of silver. What I like is that people will call me and they trust me when I do it. They know I'm going to research the numbers before I give them a number, and that's what you and I try to do. And you try to put it over your channel. I don't come on your channel very much. I stay in the background, but I definitely have my strong opinions about what we do. We can't do it for free, and my margins are $1 an ounce on silver. So if I buy it for 39, I sell it for 40. If I buy it for 53, I sell it for 52. So there's not a great margin for me, but I don't have to make a ton of money on it.
There's not, and I mean, we've even tried to do like a little bit of a buying club, but no one seemed to have interest in it. Maybe they
Yeah,
just don't understand it. But the reality is when you have a channel like this, people start to reach out and say, "Hey, I need to sell silver. Where can I sell it? What can be done?"
yeah,
Um,
and I'm not on here to promote myself to do
no,
this stuff. I'm just saying
it's
that
something we do for the community to help you guys out where we can.
yeah,
And most of it's pretty local. Some of it gets sent into to OC, but the reality is, anytime you're buying or selling, it's best to know what you're looking for. So sometimes you're just looking for ounces, right, for weight.
yep,
Other times you're looking for a particular product, right? So like this Engelhart bar, you might be at a coin show and you see someone selling that for spot price, right? And someone brought in here that it was 2 or 3 times the price of that. I don't think it's that high for an Engelhart bar like that. That's 1 ounce. It might be for, well, even the big bars aren't 2 or 3 times it, but you
no,
might get a $3 or $4 or premium on top of it for someone that's really looking to collect one of those. But oftentimes you can find a great deal on a coin like that. If you're looking for silver eagles, I would call 3 places up and find out what their price is and look online before you do it. If you're selling, do the same thing. Call Andy Schectman, Miles Franklin, right? Info at
yep,
milesfranklin.com. Tell them Stacking Surfer sent you, and reach out to them, get a bid from them, get a bid from other companies, get a bid from your LCS, and see what they'll do. Now, if you know OC Stacker, you can reach out to him. You can reach out to me and say, "Hey, I'm trying to sell some of this stuff, and all my shops around me are giving me this price. Can you guys do something better?" Um,
Here, and I'm going to cite another example. So if you guys look at my turtle behind there, you're going to see a jar of silver shot. I bought that, what, two, three, four coin shows. I paid $30. I paid up for that because it was 4 nines fine. And one of my customers wanted it to go melt stuff. Well, they never called me back because I had to charge them $2 instead of my normal over because I had to pay over at the time. So now that was $30 an ounce. So I said, oh, I'll just stick it in my safe. How we win is just like you guys. I sit there and I just hang on to it. I don't have to sell it. If someone calls me up and says, hey, I need 20 ounces a shot, I got it. But now it's almost it's got a permanent home in my safe now. I kind of like looking at it. It's kind of cool. It's fun to have around. And here's a little FYI for people that there's pros and cons to this, but people say, hey, fractional, they pay an extra premium for a gram or 2 gram, 5 gram. Well, heck, there's 20 ounces of shot that you can take there and put on a scale and you can weigh it out. The only problem is it's not stamped 4 nines fine or 3 nines fine, and there's no way of proving it. So here
it-
you have to rely on your people. So I said, hey, you know what? That's going to be my fractional. And people really, if it gets that bad, I've got half grams and grams and multi grams of silver sitting right there that I can use.
yeah, and here's the reality. I'll tell you too, guys. Like, if things get super bad and the dollar's gone, right? It's not really worth much. Okay, it's still maybe floating around. Or you want to be outside of the CBDC. Oh, I mean stablecoin, same thing, different name,
Mhm.
produced by a different place, but can do the exact same stuff. Having silver on the side is going to be really helpful. Um, having a 100-ounce bar or a 1,000-ounce bar is going to be kind of difficult to trade with
Mm-hmm.
um, in small increments, but it could be great if you're trying to do something like buy a car or a larger purchase. Um, if you're, the fractional can come in really handy. But if we get into like a true SHTF where there's the electricity's out for a year or something like that, you're not going to use silver or gold. That's where your
Exactly.
food storage comes in place and your ammunition to trade and to hunt with, and your other skills come in place. But as long as there's a civilization that's functioning and working, there's always going to be trade and barter, and there's always going to be preference. And it's going to depend. You may have certain areas of the country that go strictly off weight and they don't care what anything looks like. And you might have other places that look at it and they go, I know an Engelhard bar is worth more than this, than, a generic silver round.
Yeah, but
And
then you have to sit there and
I
hunt for
want a
the guy that
premium.
wants. You have to. Here's the problem: you have to go out and hunt for the people that want that Engelhard and know the value and want to pay for it. So people that need the money aren't going to do that. Hey, you're being fair with me. Thank you very much. I don't. We don't do coin shows anymore. They shut us down. But hey, I want to address extreme pacifist statement here, and how close we are to that reality is if the mainstream media were to say, "Hey, everybody better start getting silver tomorrow." If every American went out and bought 1 ounce, there's your silver squeeze.
Well, okay. So I'll
You
have to
see
look at
that?
the numbers again. Yeah, I saw that. Uh, Basically, Warren Buffett or Elon Musk could easily buy up the whole supply of silver. But you have to realize that as someone tries to acquire the whole supply of silver, the price skyrockets. So, for example, if a billionaire calls up to Andy Schectman at Miles Franklin and says, "Hey, I want to buy $1 billion worth of silver today," um, Andy's not going to have $1 billion of silver available. He's going to have to try to see what he can help find. And if Andy's going to give up all of his silver, he's not going to be doing it at his normal price. He's going to have to start charging more because he knows it's going to be harder for him to acquire more. um, you can't just easily go take the whole market out. The prices are going to go, they're going to start to go up. But all we need is a couple billionaires to show up. I think it's like 5 billionaires show up and say, hey, I want to buy $1 billion of silver each. And technically the silver is gone. However, it won't be gone. The price will just go way up. It'll definitely be a silver squeeze. The worst kind of silver squeeze, though, is if the LBMA breaks and people go, the LBMA is out of silver, even though they're still claiming to have all this value, and the ETFs start to get whacked, and then it cascades over into the COMEX and they drain that one. That's where people start to realize the reality that the 360 or 80 ounces of fake silver to every 1 real ounce of silver, that they're just not going to get their silver out and that they want silver. That's where you get the massive squeeze to where you could see silver jump up overnight by hundreds of dollars. um, Maybe even 1,000 or two, right? It could be completely crazy. And if something like that happens, it's going to be hard to even sell your silver or to buy silver for a period of time because no one knows what the real price is. Remember, those are paper prices, right? It's not necessarily the physical price.
Mm-hmm.
So it can completely decouple. You got to keep that in mind. But someone else in here mentioned too that we're never going to have an SHTF. Um, that term is very general. It means anything, right? Southern California could have a massive earthquake here, like an 8 earthquake. That's an SHTF. And you know, I might not be able to go anywhere for a month or two because all the roads are just completely destroyed. And so, having food and water is going to be important. But with your neighbors, you may start bartering with silver or with paper dollars back and forth. That might be a temporary SHTF. Another SHTF would be that we have hyperinflation. If all of a sudden you're now, every week, a burrito is going up by $5 a week, I would say that that's a runaway problem. And if you want to still buy your burritos, your silver is going to more likely go up along with that price increase of burrito and hopefully outpace it than your dollars are. So I think that's always interesting to do too. So let me show you this India thing real quick, and then I want to we'll do this on we'll do a little unboxing on this. I think we had a lot of people that were saying that. So this is just one random one I picked here. But let me do this. Let me turn the screen around so you guys can, I don't know if you can read any of this. It's probably too small. But basically, there was this post right here from Bob the Bullionaire. I don't follow him.
Take my screen away. You might make it bigger for everybody else.
Yeah, there's no way to do that.
Okay.
There's not a lot of flexibility on this format, but actually I can do this though. I can do this. I can kind of zoom in. So he basically says, hopefully you guys don't get sick. India drops a monetary bombshell on April 1st of 2026. Loans can be backed by silver as collateral. 10 ounces of silver equals 1 ounce of gold for collateral value. But gold price is 85 times silver's price. And then it says, if this spreads past India, silver will skyrocket versus gold. And that's true. And so one of the things to keep in mind, guys, is it's not just about spot price of of what silver is and inflation. It's also about the ratio. So if we get to where the ratio um, is goes down to 10 to 1 versus 85 to 1, you don't even need to have any inflation, and your silver could go way up. But don't think for one moment that the the powers that be and the billionaires actually want you guys to get super rich. Um, you know, they like to hold on to things and try to hold on to their power. They're not looking to try to make competition. So, I don't think there's going to be a flip that's switch that's flipped, and all of a sudden you're going to make a ton of money off of this. I think it's going to be more like their system breaks and it gets out of control, and they don't have the ability to do that. So, in here, AI does different things. It kind of comes in and it reads a bunch of stuff off the screen, and it basically gets in here and gives you implications. And at the end of it, it says the core claim in the ex post that Indy is allowing silver to be used as collateral with a 10 to 1 ratio to gold is true and supported by multiple credible sources. However, the exact implementation details and the broader global impact are still subject to analysis and speculation. So that's just crazy, though. I mean, the fact that they're looking to do that tells me that India has a ton of silver. They must have more silver than gold, or why would you even do that as a country? Um, So that's something I think that's kind of interesting. So let me see if I can do this unboxing on my computer here in a way that you guys can see it top here.
Yeah, while you're doing that, we can acknowledge a few people in the stream. Kenji's joined us with his infinite wisdom. Welcome, Kenji. Good to see you and hear you in the chat.
All right, so this is kind of cool. I'll do more official unboxings on these, but I don't know. This has got like a couple different box layers. But there's always certificates of authenticity in this. So this is number 261 of 500 right there. I have no idea how to even pronounce that. So Zhurong maybe. This is designed by Specters, and you've got kind of the stats here. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's totally in focus, but these coins that these guys do are really cool. So this is I think this might be like a Dragon Ball or something like that. But anyway, this is a dragon coin, and it's hard to tell the detail unless you're looking right at it. But it's very much deep cameo. Look at that. So anyway, that's kind of fun. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit more detail. So that is a detailed coin. Now, coins like this come with a premium, guys, and this is where you're starting to go beyond just the silver value, and you're starting to get into art. And so, if you're a huge fan of dragons, this might be a coin that would be really fun to own, and a cool piece that you could put on your desk to display. People aren't going to think that this is a coin or that it's necessarily silver. Here's the back of it. So anyway, that's kind of the sneak peek. I'll get some more details on this, and we'll do a video on it. But it's very high detailed, and coins like this are things that I don't recommend stacking, meaning getting multiple versions of it or multiple copies of the same thing. These can be really fun, especially if the theme is something that you're excited to have. I do have collectibles like this that are low mintage and they're fun to have. And for me, it's something that I did maybe a little too heavily when I first got started stacking. Um, but it's also something that I still grab. I have like one of my favorite coins is a 40 a 40 or let's see 400 gram silver Death Star. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and so that thing's really cool. And it had a premium. However, I was able to buy it pretty close to wholesale cost. And so if I were to go flip it and sell it, I think I'd make probably $1,000 on it today. So, was it worth it? I think it's cool. It's kind of a fun thing to have. Is it displayed on a desk? No, it's like in a safe. So, there's the other thing. When you do spend money on things like this, you got to consider if it's just going to be in the safe and it's something you're passing on to your family, or if it's something you're going to enjoy. I'll give you another example. I picked up a kilo shield stacker from South Korea that is Saint Michael casting out Lucifer from um, down to the earth, and it's one that OC Stacker would love to get his hands on. And I had it notification on JM Bullion to let me know when that becomes available again. And I got this notification one day, and they were selling them for $900 for a kilo of silver. This a couple years ago, and I hurried and bought two of those. I didn't know what I was going to do with the second one, and then I went to eBay and I looked up that they're selling for $1,500. So I went back to buy more, and they were sold out already. So I think those sold out in about 5 minutes. And then it turned out later that someone made a pricing mistake, and they were supposed to list them for $1,500 on JM Bullion. But those are now worth about $2,500. So, it was premium. I was paying more than I, wanted to for the weight of silver, but it's a really cool piece that I wanted to keep and hold on to. And now they're $2,500. So it's harder to get a hold of that. So if you see something you love and you feel like you got to have it, I think it's totally cool to grab one of those.
We picked
And
a time.
so,
We picked a strange time to debut those coins with my attitude about silver and how we want to stack it.
well, no, 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 it's just different things. Like, I mean, Kenshi says he has that shield stacker too. I knew he had silver. So anyway,
I
it's
pay
a
him for.
coaster for his soda.
I told you I pay him in silver when he washes my cars.
There you go. So when he comes to wash your Lambo, but I have some of those fun coins, right? But that's a small portion of my stack. It doesn't even make up 1% of it. And so I think that's what's important, guys, is you don't get carried away. But when you see something you love and you feel like, hey, I got to have that, and you have the means to do it, go for it. But if you're just getting started in stacking, I would be careful with some of these things getting too carried away, because you want to get some weight initially as you're getting started. But when it comes down to the collectible stuff, what's really cool about them is um, you're buying a collectible that has intrinsic value built into it because of the metal. So you just want to make sure you're not overpaying a huge amount of premium on top of what the metal's worth. And you also want to make sure you're buying it at the right time, right? So 5 years from now, when we see silver and gold getting really frothy and towards the top, probably not the best time to be buying really expensive premium product. Right now is a great time because eventually the price of silver spot will probably be more than this 2 ounce coin, the cost of it. And in time, it may go up a lot more. It may stay the same price of where it's at. So, you know, be careful with buying collectible stuff as far as what you pay for it, right? You want to get them when they first come out. You want to get them on sale. So I don't have the link yet. I forgot to put it in, but I'll put a link down below for these guys for Specters. You can get like $20 um, off an order. So it's kind of a fun thing to go look at. You guys might find a coin that you love and you just got to have it. So I did a video on a ball. We'll do a video on a handful of these that they sent, which are fun. But as you're getting started, the stuff OC showing you that you can get pretty close to spot, maybe a little bit above it, maybe a little bit below it, is the best way to start to gain ounces quickly. So you have that foundation, which is good. Okay, so guys, we've been talking for a little bit here. go ahead and double tap the screen. That gets you the thumbs up. We'll do a silver giveaway when we get to 100 thumbs up. If we get to 200, we'll do more silver. If we get to $100 on super chats, we'll do an ounce giveaway. Right now we're at $7. So anyway, that's kind of the news I wanted to show about India. The video I dropped earlier today went into some more detail on India, not specifically this, but on other things. And the idea here is understanding what's going on, understanding the markets. How's it going to affect silver? Are prices going up or down? Honestly, right now, I can't tell you where it's going for sure, and I can't give you financial advice on buying this, nor can OC. We're not advisors for that.
Nope.
But my urgency of buying is not FOMO. It's more about wanting to move out of paper dollars into real metal than it is about trying to time this perfectly and get the right price. We could see silver jump up next week because the Fed could lower rates at their meeting. And we could see the metals go up. We could also see the metals get crushed next Friday because the bullion banks don't want us to close above 50 on a monthly yet. And you can see them hammer that down. So I think it's going to be really hard to call what silver is going to do next week. But if we look at where it's going to be in 6 months or a year from now, I think it's going to be significantly higher. I'd be surprised if we're not sitting at least $75 silver a year from now, if not $100. And honestly, that could even happen in a couple weeks if there's a squeeze.
It can. Well, then I'm reading what Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker is saying here. He believes that silver is going to get down to 39 and then down to 30. For me, I don't like to get into too much about that kind of stuff, but you kind of have to base it off what they're doing with the printing of our money. I mean, they haven't stopped just because we changed parties in the White House. Those machines are still going 24/7, folks, and it's going to print itself into oblivion. So something's going to happen someday. Nobody knows when that day is going to end. Some people think it's going to happen on a 3-day weekend. You know, we could wake up tomorrow morning and Sunday morning and it happened. I mean, nobody really knows what's going to happen. So this is why you don't go, if you have $250,000, you don't go out and buy a bunch of gold and silver with it. You buy a little bit every month. And I have people come to me with that and say, hey, they feel like they get the FOMO, and I have to talk them down off of it. But they're so convinced that if they don't buy it all that day, that the world's going to come to an end. I said, well, this month is high. Why don't you? I usually advise people when I think the dips are coming. When we're in a dip, I call them and say, hey, now's a good time to buy. I don't have anything for sale, but if you got JM Bullion, SD Bullion, Miles Franklin, out of all those people, Miles Franklin's always my first call. It's once you deal with somebody at that level, you're never probably going to go anywhere else. They treat you right and treat you fair, and their pricing and their ability to do what they do is far superior than anybody else we've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
So,
So one other thing to point out, Rob mentioned Bo Polney. I've had lunch with him, I think 3 times now. He's here local, and I've had some good chats with him. He makes a good case on the reason why silver could really go up and that the price could jump quite a bit. And I don't think he's wrong about that. Timing it and calling a specific time on when it's going to do that is always tricky. It's hard to do that. And so, could it go to 30? Could it go to 35? It could. Could it go to 15? I don't think it could go to 15 unless we end up with something worse than the Great Depression and they stop money printing. Um, Knowing the president right now and his administration, I don't think they're going to let us go into another Great Depression. I think they would just turn their money printers on even faster. And
mm-hmm.
technically, they're not going to go print a bunch more dollars, guys. It's all digitally done by giving loans to people. And so they just lower rates low enough. And, you might say, well, the president can't affect the Fed. Well, the fact that Jerome Powell's lowering interest rates tells me that the president has been affecting him because he's always talked about not wanting to lower the rates down. And they continue to mess with the CPI or the CPI number to make it look like we don't have inflation. But I can tell you we do. I just went to go get a burrito last week, and it was $12 for a bean and cheese burrito. That's crazy expensive.
That's insane.
It should be like $4, $5 maybe at the most. I mean, there are bigger burritos, but I mean, it's getting ridiculous. You go to McDonald's, it's $20. You go to In-N-Out, it's about $14. In-N-Out's better food, higher quality. So I'd rather go there. But when you look at it, could the prices go down? Yes. Could they go up? Yes. But you have to look at the momentum. You have to look at a lot of different indicators. So when silver got up to about I don't know, what did it get up to? About $52 or so.
No,
Um,
53 and some change.
53 and change. So when it got up to 53, it was very overbought. Um, and just so you know, even in a bull market, it can stay overbought for like a year, maybe a year and a half. So just because it's overbought does not mean it's about to come crashing down. There's no reason for silver to go much below where it's at now. Maybe it goes down to 45. Going below that, there needs to be a catalyst that happens for it. Like, stocks taking a big dive, or um, I don't know, a big economic issue going on where they believe that we're going to go into a big recession, and so that can hit silver, right? It wouldn't necessarily hit gold, but it could hit silver. So we're really close to that 100, guys. So keep double tapping the screen. If you've already done it, you don't have to double tap it. But if you guys are new on here, we got 117 people right now. We have
88 looks like. We need 12 more.
126 have voted, which it's good. So I got a master's in a lot of the stuff we studied was statistics, and so you can't really have a significant uh, results until you get to 1,000 sample size. But we're at about 128, and so we started off pretty high. It's starting to come down a little bit on the two. But the more people that put the information in there, the more we can see a more accurate vote. So you guys fill that out too. Um, but here's the thing that you really have to ask yourself. So it doesn't really matter too much about whether it's going up or down in the short run here. In the long run, do you believe it's going higher? If you believe in the next 5 years that silver is going to be $100, then it doesn't really matter that much if you buy it at $53 or you buy it at 45. It matters a little bit, but when you get to that 100, it's not going to matter so much. The other
Yeah.
thing you got to look at is if you're holding on and waiting for it to go down to 30 and it does not go down to 30, but it goes up to 60, what are you going to do next? Are you going to buy at 60 or are you still going to wait for 30? I can tell you I've done that with some of the cryptocurrencies and I missed it. And I just decided not to buy them. And I missed out on some stuff because I was trying to play, arbitrage on some of the pricing with it. Um, and sometimes you lose the trade and you got to decide what you're going to do. So if you think it's going to 30 and you're waiting for 30, you've got to be okay for it to go to 60 and it never goes back down to 30. But you need to have a plan. Are you going to just not buy any more silver ever again? Or are you going to have to buy it at 60? Same thing. If you're looking to sell and you think you're going to sell it because it's going up to 60 and it doesn't go up to 60 for a very long time and we end up going down to 30, are you okay selling at 30? So you got to kind of have these ideas and thoughts in your head. And uh, one person that has a pretty big channel is Mark Moss. I used to follow him a lot until he got crazy into just Bitcoin stuff, and then I pulled back from it. But he's here not too far from me, and he's made a ton of money doing Bitcoin, which is great. And he likes gold and silver too. It's just not his thing right now, so he's kind of moved out of it. But I'd be surprised if he got rid of all of it. But one thing he said that I thought was pretty smart is when you take your portfolio, he would take like let's say you have 100 ounces of silver, and you're concerned that the price is going down and you might want to sell some of it. If you think it's a 20% chance that it's going to go down to 30, then sell 20% of it right now. And then you have already sold some of it higher. And if it goes down there, that's great. But if it goes the other direction and it goes up, you only sold 20%. It doesn't put you in a bad position. I thought that was some good advice. But
Yeah. Here,
anyway,
I'm gonna. Kenji put something in here, and
okay.
only probably someone like myself or a few Frank Bonds 9 for 9 might be able to relate to this. He goes, "What good is $50 silver if the premiums go away?" Well, brother, I was buying silver when it was 4 or 5, 6, $7 an ounce. So it's when we were stacking it way back then, we were getting ready for a rainy day, like coming up on me, for instance, going to be coming up on retirement here pretty soon. So it's money that I put away that is now I can take back out and sell if I need to and use it to get by. So, you have to look at silver and gold as a long term thing. If you're looking for the quick money, That's what Bitcoin's for. Go, if you're 30 years old, then go do that. You have time to recover. Someone in my position is different. That's what's great about these channels, that all of us sit here and share our journey. I see people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, all coming to me on different levels of the game on where they're at. The exciting part for me is I got young people that come to me that want to sell it because they don't understand it. And I explain it to them and they keep it. That's the best
Yep.
part. But then you have the ones that say, "Hey, I'm getting just 6 8 months ago. Hey, I'm getting married. We're buying a house. We need this to put that towards it." Oh, say, I understand. I go, but just don't sell all of it. How about if you just sell me X amount and keep a little bit? Would you be okay with that? Because if something ever does happen, you have at least something for your family. And he appreciated me doing that. And that's all we're doing here at Surfer. You and I are having a discussion, just like we do in private, about how we feel about what's going on in the marketplace. And we just try to share that with you guys. And you can pick apart what we like and don't like about what we say. But, and I hate that we always have to say this isn't financial advice, because it's really not. This is kind of like life advice. You know, I have a house. Why would I not have homeowners insurance? I have a car. Why wouldn't I have homeowner or car insurance? It's just like I said. It's just, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. That's why we have these channels and people talk at different levels at different places. You know, you and I and Chef will talk about this stuff all day long. We have dinners at my house, and that's all we all talk about with our wives and girlfriends. That's all we can do. I like the people in this community. Everybody I've dealt with, probably 99.9% have been phenomenal, awesome, and they're great to chat with. Hobbies. Do I have a weakness in silver and gold? Absolutely. Anything constitutional, anything with with a turtle. Um, I like the pours. I like to support the community and channels that do great pours. Some of the pours I'm really into, some not so much, but they're good people at the end of the day, and I feel
And if
very
you want to
fortunate.
make a ton of money from OC Stacker, pour like a kilo um, turtle, and he'll have to buy it. So that's just a
Yeah, I mean, like I said, so the turtle that was made by, I'll give a shout out to the guy that did his Capital Currency. He's not out much anymore. He couldn't make a go of it doing the silver and making a living at it, but he's a great guy. Spent many hours with him on the phone. He's a good human being. His heart's in the right spot. But when you spend 2 3 4 5 hours making that turtle and making $10, it doesn't pay for the gas, the time, the sand, the heat, the propane. And people, you can't sit there and look at it as a couple ounces of silver. You have to look at it as art. So, and and then I get that not everybody gets that. So, and I don't expect you to. And I go directly against my philosophy: is get as cheap as you can and get as much weight as you can. Pours are my weakness, but I look at it as a way of supporting the community, and
well.
that's my
OC.
short, simple answer to why I have what I have.
Well, and I think to your point too, and kind of going back to the Kenshi question too, which is um, to me, gold and silver can be an investment. They can also be a savings, and they can also be like an insurance policy, and they can be a hedge. Okay, they can be all four of those things.
Hmm.
Most of the stackers I found out there are looking at, gold as um, really kind of an insurance policy for their wealth that they already have. They're not looking for it to make a return on investment. Okay. So, they're not trying to make a bunch of money. That's why when you go onto places like X and you see people kind of fighting back and forth that are, gold bugs versus Bitcoin people, Bitcoin bugs, they're after two totally different things. Okay.
Hmm.
So when I buy like a gold buffalo or a gold eagle, I'm buying that because I'm trying to hedge, in my opinion, $50,000 of net worth I have. That's kind of my rule of thumb. For every $50,000 in net worth I have, I want an ounce of gold. And
Hmm.
why do I want that? Because I believe that at some point they're going to have to revalue gold to around $50 to reset the currency, and that they're going to have to reestablish that.
Well, here,
It
Stan.
might,
Let's stay on that subject for a little bit, because
yeah.
I want to address another statement from Kenji. Insurance is you betting against actuaries. Good luck with that. Well, I got news for you, Kenji. When I first bought my house, we were in the house maybe 3 4 years, and we had wooden fences at the time at my new house that we bought. It was a brand new house. in construction. This is 30 years ago. And that storm was so bad, it blew over almost all the wooden fences in our area. It was going to cost minimum when we had people come out for fencing. It was going to cost us like $15,000-$20,000 to get just my fence done. And then all the neighbors had to do it. Insurance kicked in and got that done right away. And you've been in my house over 4 or 5 years ago. Went out and bought a new refrigerator, put a stainless steel line on the water line to feed the ice maker. Well, we were gone at the house for 15 minutes, and while we were gone, that line blew and flooded, and water was coming out my front door. Did $180,000 worth of damage. Now, if I didn't have insurance, I would have had to liquidate my metals to cover the damage. So, to your statement, I get it's easy to be a smart aleck, and I appreciate you being that because I'm kind of in that same boat, but in a nicer way. So, insurance is no different than hedging what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Do I think I'm going to drive a car and never get in an accident? No. Do I think that the weather's going to be perfect every day of the week, owning a house and not be protected? You just do what you think is best for you.
Well,
Surf and but you and I are just talking about life experience and what goes on, and why we
yep.
do what we do. At the end of the day, so everybody has their point, and they might think I'm a fool. That's okay.
Well, here's the thing. So, I have a bunch of crypto. Okay, it's a very small percentage compared to what I have in precious metals, and precious metals is a small percentage of what I have in real estate. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm not 100% precious metals, and I have stocks, and I have I don't know, emergency supply stuff too, right? So, this isn't a battle about who's cooler, the person that has silver and gold or the person that has Bitcoin. Okay, that's not the argument here.
No.
What I'm saying is you got to look at the financial instrument that you are in or you're putting money into, and what your purpose is. So for me, when I buy real estate, it's either because I'm creating a job by building a self storage facility on it, and I'm going to flip it. So maybe I don't build a facility, but I took a property from dirt to getting it fully approved with building permits so I could sell it to someone. We were going to build on it. We decided to sell it. I've also owned multiple homes where I'm renting them out. And the whole purpose is to create cash flow for myself as well as to have appreciation by having someone else pay the rent. You might go and buy an apartment complex for cash flow, right? You might go and buy a short term rental so that you can write off income so that you end up having a bunch of income coming in from the short-term rental, but you can turn around and depreciate it. And so you basically create a bunch of tax-free money. Okay. Now, as I said, not financial advice, talk to your accountant on that one too, and your advisor, but you got to look at each different bucket that's in there. So one, when I look at Bitcoin, if I were buying a bunch of Bitcoin back in 2018, which is when I first started buying Bitcoin, I bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and I had to sell it to put a down payment on the house I'm in today, which is totally worth it because this has been a place for my family to live in and to grow up in. And I did the same thing with stock that I got from one of the companies I worked for in the past to put in a backyard. Today, that stock's worth $500,000. Am I ticked that I gave up $500,000 to put a backyard in that my kids enjoyed for 8 years? No, that's what the money was there for. And guess what? I've got a bunch of stock in another company now too. Not a big deal. It always kind of comes back to you. So to me, gold bullion is wealth insurance. It's to insure when the stock market crashes and when Bitcoin and my other cryptos crash. Okay. Bitcoin can go to zero, gold cannot. Bitcoin can go to zero, silver cannot. XRP can go to zero. Your metals are not going to go to zero. In order
Yep.
for your metals to go to zero, that means there's no civilization. The only thing you're trying to do is eat.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's a whole different thing.
The
So,
greatest things that you need are food and time. They give us right.
exactly. Now, most people do not get rich by diversification. You get rich by focusing. So, if you know real estate, you focus on real estate, you get rich from that. If you're a coin shop and you know coins, you focus on that and you get rich from that. Okay. Um, that's how you make your money. When you want to save your money and you want to retain it, that is when you diversify. Okay. These are principles that go back to all the people that are rich. Um, Bitcoin can make you money. So people that invest in Bitcoin and things like XRP, they're usually looking for a massive return on investment. So it becomes super important at what price you buy it at. Gold and silver typically are a little different. So my gold is wealth insurance. My pre 33 gold that I buy is also wealth insurance until I start to buy more rare coins that I believe are going to go up 5 or 10 times the value of spot price. Okay, at any given time, and definitely 3 to 5 times the value of what I paid for it. Okay, those are an investment. Those are not wealth insurance anymore. Different product. Silver, when I buy, you buy shot, or you buy constitutional silver. That's my SHTF money. It's to barter and to use to pay for things. When I buy silver eagles, that is money I'm going to be putting into real estate at some point because I believe silver eagles are going to go up a lot. I'm going to sell those silver eagles and I'm going to turn it into a piece of property that's going to cash flow for me. Right now, buying property is not a great time. So I have multiple kinds of stacks. I stack in multiple different ways. Some of it's for fun. Some of it is gets down to business. I plan on making a 2 or 3 times return on it, and I'm going to sell it. So there's an ROI. I
Hmm.
think it's important to do all of those things. Okay, so when it comes down to it, you know, you have to understand why you're buying it in the first place, what your exit strategy is for it. I was just filming a video at the beach today, and a guy came by me and said, "Hey, I overheard what you were saying," and he goes, "Look what I just bought." And I think he was in his 20s, but maybe he's a little older than that. And he showed me his phone, and it was a 10-ounce bar of gold, and I thought that's really cool. I don't have a 10-ounce bar of gold. I've got gold coins, but I don't have anything that has that much gold in one form.
But here, let's stop
Um,
there for a second. But
yeah.
if you're investing in it and not doing the coin thing like we are, there's people that don't really give a
Yep.
care about this stuff as much as we do. When I go up to our people where we go take our gold in, turn in, and sell it, every one of them across the board says, if you're going to do this, invest in it. Just buy the bars and avoid all the premiums. If you really want to stack gold,
Yep.
everybody wants the premium on a buffalo versus an eagle versus a Krugerrand. I mean, I see the premium. Those three bars at the end of the day all are 1 ounce of gold. End of the day. Now I can grab Krugerrands for 4 or 5, sometimes 6% back of spot. I mean, for me, that is an absolute 100% no brainer on what to do.
Yep.
No questions asked, no problem. Then when I go take them in, when I sell them, they go, well, why don't you just trade that in for bars and just stack bars? If you really want to, stack gold and really believe in it, he goes, why pay the premiums on a coin that's $100 or $200 a coin? You got a tube of 20 of them and you've got a couple grand, in paying somebody else's payment, basically. Why not just go pay $100 for a 10-ounce bar profit and move on to it? That's what they do. Hey, dude, all these were all light switches for me. I'd never looked at it that way. That's why it's great that you
No,
and I are having this
totally.
that you and I are having this conversation right now with 130 some odd people joining
Well,
us. I mean, we're just
it
trying to share what we learned with them, and then you can discern what you get from us, you guys. I mean, that's and Decal. I just want to call him out real quick. I answered him in the chat. Diversify. Do I have stocks? Yes. Do I have Roths? Yes. Do I have Roth IRAs? Yes. Do I have art? Yes. Do I have cars? Yes. Do I have a house? Yes. Do I have land? Yes. Do I have gold, silver? Yes. You diversify. You don't put all
do you have a Lambo though?
Lambo. We've already had this discussion on our last live. Dude. I'm going to be buying Kenji's Lambo 10 cents on the dollar when he doesn't have $5 to go buy a breakfast. Or I'm sorry, $30 to go buy a breakfast burrito. So and here's the dude. I'm older. I've been a car dealer. Any
Yeah.
car that I wanted to drive, I just put my hand up at the auction and I bought it and drove it out. Do I love cars? Yes. Am I kind of over it? I've loved kids cars ever since I could play with Hot Wheels, but I'm at the point in my life where I'm kind of over it. I've already had all kinds of cool cars, big blocks, small
Well,
blocks, Chevys, Fords, Dodges. It doesn't,
it's all relative. Look, I've
yeah.
got neighbors that have McLarens. I have neighbors that have Lamborghinis. Okay, they're all over the place here. Now, when I say neighbors, I mean in my city here, not my next door neighbors. But um, you know, if We have a cars and coffee every Saturday here in my city, and someone in the city council is trying to get rid of it, which I think is completely stupid. But
I'm with Ed on the Corvette, by the way.
yeah, there's a lot of cool cars. So you can go back and see my video I did like a week ago today, at the Cars and Coffee. There's a lot of really cool cars there. Um, I've had friends that have owned a lot of those really cool cars, guys. And for me, it's too much of a headache to own something like that. I'd rather rent it. Same with a yacht. Same with a private jet.
Oh,
Just
oh,
go get net jets.
hey, let me finish my rant on do I have? Yeah, I also have gold, silver, platinum. All the metals.
Do you have copper?
I do. I have it sitting here on my desk. I got that from T-Bird Stacking. He did some cross pours, some heart pours, and some other stuff. And I said, hey, you know what? I don't have any. I think it's insanely. I mean, to buy a 5 ounce copper pour for $20 is ridiculous when it sells by the pound for $13. So here again,
But
I'm supporting a
now, do you
friend
have
who does this.
crystallized osmium? I don't have any of that yet.
I have one piece that I got from Space Miner who's in the chat. If you guys need that kind of stuff, he is a plethora of information on gemstones and osmium. He's an osmium dealer in New Mexico. I've spent hours on the phone with him as well. He is him and Long Live Coins, absolutely fantastic people in our community that if you have questions, these guys will talk to you. They're not going to shy away or email with you at least. When you get to know people long enough, when you're in the streams, they trust you with a phone number, and little by little, you get people's confidence and knowing that you're not going to spill or take pictures of them, put them on the net. You have to navigate everything through life. So, um, if you're into that, I got into it and then got out of it. But I encourage everybody that's doing it. I support them. I've got their pieces here on my desk. I think it's absolutely
Nice.
phenomenal. But you know, I get into what I think. I don't get into anything I don't know how to get out of.
So
Partnerships, metals, you name it.
real quick, OC, we've got 155 votes. So you guys keep filling that out because it's getting more interesting the more people that fill it out. Maybe we're getting different people in here too. We've hit over 100, so we'll do a silver giveaway in a minute. Keep tapping that if you guys are new into the stream right now. If we can get up to 200, we'll do more silver, or $100 in super chats. We're at 7. So based on what OC is saying too, guys, a few things I'll throw out there. Rhodium and and uh, palladium would be, to me, bets. They would be like buying a let's call it a an altcoin if you're looking at crypto, right? If you guys are crypto people. So when you're
Mhm.
looking at those, they have huge potential upside, but right now they're priced down low, and there's not a lot of great use cases for them at the moment until we start to see like the automotive industry start to take off more, and we start to go into more of a good time versus potentially recession. So I don't have any of those metals. I'm tempted to maybe buy some, but then it's like, what do I do with them? I still think silver is going to outperform just about every one of these. I did pick up some more platinum. I do have gold. I've got different kinds of gold, and they're there for different reasons. But I think the key is, and this is why we say we're not financial advisors. One, we don't have the degrees for. There's not even a degree for it. We don't have the certification for it. I could go get it if I wanted to, but then I'll be forced to do regular things. So going back to this guy I ran into at the beach, though, OC, he, with the 10-ounce gold bar, his wife left being a financial planner or an advisor, one of the two,
Oh
probably an
yeah.
advisor, because his wife's company was told her to stop recommending gold to the clients because they don't sell gold. They don't make money from gold. They make money from stocks.
Well,
And
hey, remember
so,
what happened to Tim when the banks got rid of him, and Tim and Yankee when the bank kicked
yeah,
him out? Okay, if you're a bullion dealer, I'm not a bullion dealer, but I help people out, and I was with the bank for 30, just shy of 30 years, and went in to go do business one day, and they said, "Nope, we're shutting you down. Not only you, but your wife and your kids." They kicked my family completely out because I talked to the tellers about it. I was excited about it. I was trying to start my own business doing that. Found out that if you're going to do that, the banks don't like us because we go against everything. We're basically their competitors, and we're teaching people to gyp them out of their savings and their money because we all know. And if these 117 people that we're chatting with right now, when you walk into the bank and you hand them your paycheck, you hand them your $100 bills, you no longer own that money. That is their money, and they might give it back to you if they feel like it. So when they say be your own bank and all this kind of stuff, we're just trying to just shine the light on what's going on, folks. And here again, you discern from what we're talking about what fits in your world. You may not be as diversified. I think it was Rob earlier saying I have silver and land only. Okay, brother, good news. You're diversified. Maybe not as thin as other people or in different areas, but you're diversified. That's all we're saying. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket.
I,
And
I agree.
like I said, that's why you and I we'd rather invest in our metals than leave my money in the bank.
Well, exactly, and it's it just depends on what your goals are, guys. Like, look, to me, silver is much more of an investment and speculation than gold, or it's a basically a life hedge, right? It's going to be used in a situation to barter with. Um, but then I have pieces that are art, like the turtle you guys see up on the screen, or like this Death Star I was talking about, right? Those things are kind of fun and they have art value to them. My hope is they go up more than the spot price does, and you get to kind of get a return on them.
Mhm.
But if I want to make cash flow, I buy real estate. I don't buy gold and silver, or I go and buy gold and silver mining companies that pay a dividend. Right? If I'm looking for cash flow, if I'm looking for return on investment, then I start looking at things like gold and silver miners. A lot of mine are up between about 60% and 200% this year. Okay. This year alone, they have
Mhm.
kicked Bitcoin's butt this year, by the way. Gold and silver by themselves have kicked Bitcoin's butt this year. Now, I don't care about that because I didn't buy it for that. But the Bitcoin people are very hurt right now, especially on X. There's a lot of stuff that they're saying about gold and silver. And what they're not realizing is the people that are buying gold and silver are looking for a different objective. And so you can own Bitcoin, you can own gold and silver. You also don't have to. But the key here is that why are you owning it? And it's important to know that what you own and the reason you're owning it for align. Okay. So, like we were talking about a minute ago, if you're buying a bunch of kilo silver bars or 100-ounce silver bars and you're buying a bunch of 10-ounce gold bars, you're, to me, not a stacker in the traditional sense of people that call themselves stackers that watch YouTube videos. You're probably more of like an investor that doesn't really care about the collection. They're not really caring too much about SHTF because in that format, you're going to have a really hard time in an SHTF because you're not going to be able to get down small enough to use it for buying a loaf of bread. You're going to be shaving off silver and having to wait. It's going to be a pain in the butt. You're a little bit more in that investment standpoint, in my opinion. Now, if that's what you have, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, Surfer's telling me I'm not a stacker," I would look at it and say, "Okay, if you're worried about an SHTF and you're worried about when silver hits $1,000 an ounce in the future, that your 100-ounce bar is going to be worth $1 million, and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Um, all of a sudden, it becomes the kind of thing that gets really hard to liquidate and move. And so then you start looking at it and saying, okay, maybe I need to get a few smaller coins. If all you have is junk silver and you don't have other stuff, and you're like, well, wait a second, I do want to have some of my silver be an investment for paying my house off or a future thing. Well, then maybe you do want to get a few bars and a few other things like that because it might be easier for you. So it just depends on what you're trying to go for. I've got a video I filmed today with Sil over at Tangible Investments, and he's the co-founder of PCGS. He invented the grading system that PCGS uses. That's a pretty cool guy to get to know.
He's great to
Um,
have in our wheelhouse because
he is.
there's people in our community that have reached out to me that I have taken their coins in, hand walked them into Sil and have him look at them personally to have sent out or not. So, not saying I can do that for everybody, but if someone has something that's pretty cool, which this coin happened to be, he got it at a great price and it came out a grade that we were hoping for. So it was a win-win. That's the smart time to do it when we have that connection. So,
Well, and he can look at them too, and he gives you a pretty. I would say, I don't know, 80-90% um, on so far from the coins I've given him on being a MS 70 for
yep.
more modern stuff. And
Hmm.
He can tell you on the older stuff too. Like PCGS flies him all over the country to do pre-grading before people turn their stuff in at PCGS coin shows. But
Uh,
the point I wanted to make real quick on this is this video is going to talk about graded coins versus non-graded coins, and how they can be a different, make a difference in his opinion about the value you get out of it. And a lot of what we talked about is, are you using it as an insurance policy, or are you using it as an investment? So someone like Kenshi that seems to really be keen on investments versus insurance policies. For him and someone that's concerned about that, I would recommend for him to look into more pre-33 rare coins than necessarily going out and buying a gold bar or a gold, silver eagle or buffalo. Sorry, gold eagle or gold buffalo, because he's looking for this big return out of it. And those coins typically give you a crazy big return during gold bull runs, much more than bullion does. But they come at a higher price. You might be paying $30,000 to $50,000 for one of those coins, but that could end up turning into a $300,000 coin for you. So it all depends on what your goal is and what you're trying to go after. But you can't really screw this up too much, because the asset is valuable by itself. You may lose a little bit on a premium. You may end up selling something at a little bit of a loss in the short run, but in the long run, I think you're all going to be making money off of what you're buying. But with that said, it's important to shop around, make sure you're not overpaying for it. And if your whole stack looks like that turtle up here, um, and you're hoping that you're going to get rich off of it, probably not the right move. If your whole stack looks like this bar over here and you're hoping that it's going to be easy to buy bread with it at some day, probably need to get some smaller fractional stuff. If you've got more of just coins and rounds that are 1 ounce and that's all you have, I would recommend looking into things like constitutional silver. And at the same time, if you have $1 million and you're buying gold and silver, you don't want it all in 1 ounce coins because it's going to take up so much space. You're probably going to want to buy bars because they take up less space, and you're probably going to want to buy more gold because it'll take up less space.
yeah.
So it all depends on what you're trying to go after. And if you're a billionaire and you want to buy $1 billion worth of silver, you're probably not buying silver shot, right? Like, it just depends on what you're really trying to go after.
Let me hit Echo Leaf here. He goes, "Is junk market screwed up or just at the moment?" It's kind of funny. We go through cycles. I can remember the last coin show we went to, or the one before. All of a sudden, peace dollars got to be the magical coin that everybody was paying extra for. Then, 3 months, 4 months after the coin show, it goes back down again. So, within your coin collection, I mean, look at what just little funky things I have up there. I have everything under the sun. I have a junk American flag bar 1 ounce. I have a graded Morgan. I have a graded peace dollar. I have sterling silver coins. I have gold. I have generic silver there. I don't have any constitutional silver out. But to address as a question, right now, if I'm going to tell people what to buy, get out and get your 90%. They are inundated, and I watched a channel selling retail $2 below spot, $3 below spot on quarters, nickels, dimes, and halves on constitutional silver. I would say if you're in the market, that's where I would steer you to. I don't ever sell my constitution. That's the one thing I hoard myself. If I ever take it in, if I ever do a collection, you know me, brother. I won't. It took an act of Congress for me to cough up 2 quarters to go give away in our last show.
I
Which, by the
where
way,
where are those,
which
by
by
the way?
yeah,
We need to.
yeah, you and I will see each other. You'll get them, I promise. You know that.
Well, so OC, another quick question. Well, not a question. Well, it's a question, but I think it's more of a statement. How many Lambos are in the parking lot at the fun show? Um,
Zero.
you're just dealing with different personality types and stuff. Look, I'm in sales. I sell AI software. Some of the people I work with make 500,000. Some of them make $1 million. Some of them make 200,000 a year. Okay. Um, some of these guys, it's all about the car. It's all about the lady, right? It's all of these things that they're looking after and all those things. I have had enough money to buy a Lamborghini. I wouldn't buy one for any reason. There's like no reason for it. I would go get a Honda. Okay, that's more my style. Um, if I had the $1 million, I'm not going to go buy the Lambo because I'm going to invest it in something that's going to create more value for me down the road. not just for play, right? I can go rent one in Vegas and I can race it around a track. I mean,
Yeah.
what's a Lamborghini good for in Los Angeles where you're going 2 miles an hour on the freeway in rush hour traffic? Like totally dumb.
Yeah, here I want to address a question here. We're getting some good stuff tonight, and it's good stuff for us, for you and I, to kind of slow our roll what we talk about because we bounce around a
Yeah.
lot. Here's the guy in here that says, "I like shiny stuff." Good
Yeah, me
news.
too.
Yeah, we all do. Here's the good news. Tiger Stacker just did a video a while back that the girl, the young lady that owns the pawn shop where he does his business at, was sitting there breaking out oodles and oodles and oodles of proof quarters that were 90%. The value of those quarters, because the price is going up so much, they broke all those out and put them in a big, huge monster tub. Brand spanking new, shiny, never touched, out of a plastic case into a bucket to go trade into melt to go get cashed out on. You can find that kind of, if you want that kind of constitutional silver, it is out there. So you can just say, hey, you can call your LCSs. Hey, I know all these quarter sets that everybody bought and spent too much money on, and people are cashing them out because silver went up. And then we're going to bust them out of those plastic. Nick's coins would have a heyday, breaking all those coins out of those cases. But you can have brand new, uncirculated, beautiful, shiny silver quarters out of those sets. They're out there. There's coin shops that do that. Call them up and say, hey, next time you get quarters getting broken out of plastic cases, I would like to get a tube, or I would like to buy $6 worth, $5, $2, whatever it is, whatever you can afford to stack. It is out there. You just have to do a little bit of legwork if that's what you want. Put the
Yep.
word out. Hey, Osea, I want pre 33 gold. I want it raw. And, I don't want to pay the premiums on it. I just want to pay for the scrap. Okay, well, we can do that. It
But
doesn't
don't
happen right
ask him
away,
to
but
get
we
you
can
a
get it.
Saint. Don't ask him to get you a Saint Gaudens 1933. He's not going to do
Yeah, because I'll keep it.
it. But just don't. If he ever finds it, he's never going to tell you about it because it would be illegal. So, but it would be worth a lot of money if you found that.
Yeah, well, like I
Um,
said, there's an answer for everybody that has questions about our. I'm going to say it's our hobby. Some of it for people, it's a business. For me, I've been doing this. I was 7 years old, 1970. I fell in love with doing coins, collecting, and all that kind of stuff. I've never really stopped. Yes, when I got married, did I stop? Yes. When I bought my house and had kids, yes. But when my kids got older and people came to my dealership and didn't have means of way to pay for it, the first words out of my mouth were, "Well, do you have a family collection of silver or gold or anything like that?" Oh, yes, we do. I said, I will take that as payment.
or
So
dogs. If they had dogs, you might take those too.
I just wouldn't mention it to my wife and kids, but.
OC has a handful of dogs, but everything you're saying in there, I agree with. It makes so much sense. Rob has a question, or not a question, but a statement. He said, "My grandmother uh, gave her constitutional silver stack that she purchased at face value for the banks. They look uncirculated." So, the other thing I'll throw out there, guys, is part of there's a lot of different channels out here. Mine tends to I go more into the macroeconomics and where we're going to go with this, because that's part of my passion and my background and understanding and education. To me, it's not all about gold and silver. I do plan on taking a good chunk of my silver at some point, I hope, and turning it into a bunch of commercial real estate projects. I like to build businesses. I'll build businesses around them and maybe even a brand and branch it out. That's me.
Hey,
Um,
here, let's stop for a second. I'm going to
yep.
point something out. You and I always say we're going to do a half an hour, but you and I have been friends for how long
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. We're at
And
10 now. So
our conversations never are short because we love we love talking about this stuff and love
it's
doing
so
it. So,
fun. So
but
let's do
I'm
this
just looking
then.
at the time. It's 10 o'clock, and
Yeah.
people ask about the thing. We'll
And
wrap it
it's
up.
late for a
We'll
lot
do
of
this
people,
again.
but the last thing I'll just say on this, guys, is y- y- you know, build your strategy, do education on it. My channel talks more about macroeconomics. There's other channels that talk about coin collecting. There's other
Hmm.
channels that talk specifically just about, constitutional silver, or, coins to look up. Whatever you're looking after, find the channels that resonate with you the most, subscribe to them, hit the subscribe on this one if you guys are liking what we're talking about. And then you hit the bell icon so that you get notified of it, right? And then thumbs up is always helpful for us on every video. That's like giving us a tip, basically. Find the channels you like, listen to them, start to understand. If you happen to have a whole bunch of product, so gold or silver coins that look like they're in near perfect condition, you may have something that's worth 10 times the value of the metal itself. And so there are places you can go to have that valued. One of those would be Tangible Investments. I should have a link down below to them. They can look at them for free and they'll give you a valuation on it. And maybe you'll turn out to find one of grandma's coins is worth, $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever else. So let's do our silver giveaway real quick here. We're going to do a silver dime for you guys. One of these days, I hope to get everything to the point where we can be doing 1 ounce coins all the time. But it does cost a lot to run this stuff, and I got to kind of watch it. But we'll do a silver dime here. So OC, do you have a question for? I don't have a question in my head. I can come up with one real quick, unless you've got one.
Well, people don't know me well enough to ask. I do have a question in mind, and it's on my table, but I don't know if you can see it enough to answer the question.
Okay, let's do this. So it's going to be a little bit. It'll be easier for people that have been watching the stream longer. First off, the rules are you've got to be over 18. You have to be a subscriber to the channel. So if you win and you're not a subscriber, hurry and subscribe. And you'll send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com. In the subject, put GAW and today's date. And then down below, remind me that it's a silver dime. And then give me your YouTube handle and then your mailing address so I can send it out to you. And what I'll do is I'll send it taped to the back of one of my stickers.
Here,
So,
hang on a second. Here, let's see where I can put this. I'm gonna get this out of the way. I don't. I think that I can't. I don't know what this thing is. It's in my treasure chest. It's a Walking Liberty fake. I think it's a. I'm not sure what it is. To be quite honest with you.
OC will send you a Walking Liberty fake.
Yeah, whatever that is. I think it's a
Just kidding.
quarter ounce. I think it's bigger than a tenth. I'm not really sure, but yeah. And I threw my email in the chat earlier for 9 for 9 and Frank. They're looking for some stuff. So we've met them at the coin show a couple of times. A couple of great guys in the community. Like I said, anybody that's come out to see us and meet us at the coin shows, I have yet to have a awful experience with folks that we've met through here that listen to us and want to talk to us and chat with us. And it's fun when people come by, they want to have pictures taken with you because I don't show my face, but it's pretty funny. Obviously, I
Well,
don't
I
take
think it's
pictures with
funny. I mean,
people.
I'm not a celebrity. I'm just a guy that I overpaid for a lot of stuff when I first got started because I was going for more collectible. I'm like, if you buy a collectible, it's going to go up in value. It'll be more rare. And then as I started to learn, if it's not 100 years old, it probably isn't going to go up a whole lot in value. It'll probably just come off of it. So anyway, I wanted to teach people and help them, not make mistakes from it. And then as I've learned more and more about what's going on with our money system and everything else, I just wanted to share it. So here's going to be the question. So you can answer one time, um, and you have to wait until I type go
Why
on
don't
my
you have,
laptop here.
hey, why don't you have just have Ellie or Craig drop a go and a stop, and that way you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, that'd be good. So Mods, you'll put a go in once I say the question. Um, so here's one answer to this, guys, and we're going to pick the fifth person, number 5, that answers it correctly. Of the silver that's on the display here from OC Stacker, what is his favorite piece? So you got to wait for the go to come in the chat, guys. If it's before the go, then it won't count. And you're looking for number 5.
Yeah, why don't we have Craig drop the go and have Ellie drop the stop? That way,
There you go.
there you go.
Doing this format does not allow us to do like the wheels and stuff and the random pickers. Well, a few people were watching earlier, I think. I'm going to guess it's the silver shot. What do you think? It's his favorite.
Actually, I don't see it yet.
BBs.
And
Someone
I
put in
told you,
BBs.
it's going to be hard for people to see it, and we might just go with my turtle just because. But
No,
I'll
that's it. So the answer is going to be turtle, guys. So Tiger Stacker put turt. I don't know what a turt is. It doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Whatever it is, I don't want nothing to do with it.
um, all right. So I don't know if we did we get a go in here. Let's see.
Yeah, I see Craig
Okay.
showing me. So
So
Jen
we're gonna
has
start from Craig. So the first person would
live chat.
we got to get to number 5. So the first person is going to be Anita. The second would be 3D Woodworks. The third would be 949. The fourth would be Matt Wing. And the fourth one would be Richie Crash. So Richie Crashy would be the winner here. So congratulations. And
Is that for both pieces, or are we doing another question?
what are you going to do the walking?
Yeah, that I'm gonna give that away. By
Okay.
the way, I picked it up and read it. It's a quarter ounce of silver. So it's just one of those things I had sitting in my pirate chest over here. I knew I had.
Um, okay. So then 3 9's fine silver is like a replica.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, so we're gonna do that one as well, guys. Okay, so with that one, let's do another question. Um, okay, so here's
So
the other here's the
so
other
here's the
question.
here's the problem. I've got my favorite piece of silver and my favorite piece of gold on the table, but I don't think I didn't have
We
time to
can't
get
see any gold though.
I know that's why I said that's because that actually is.
So,
Well, since we're
I,
talking about
I
it, might
I
as well.
know what it is,
Yeah, I know you do. So this is my.
but no one's gonna guess it.
Yeah, let's see if I can put it in front of my camera.
Well,
So that's we the people constitutional. I'm a big constitutionalist, folks. So this piece is my gold piece, and then right underneath it is my. And I just didn't have time to get it out. This is
so
a set that.
we'll do another question, OC. So I've got another question real quick. It's gonna also be number 5 to get this one right. Um, wait until it says go. Only one guess. So we'll do this as well. So what animal was on my thumbnail of my video that was released today? And you got to wait for one of the mods to put go in there. I think it was Craig we were having do go, right?
Yeah, and Ellie doing the stop. So whenever Craig is ready.
Maybe Craig's gone to bed already.
Well, he's 3 hours behind us.
I know. Maybe he's gone to bed early.
Oh, there you go. There it is. It's in there.
Okay.
I think we're on a delay. So,
Yeah, it's always delayed for us on this.
and you're looking for the type of animal that's on the thumbnail. I didn't even see it, so I can't answer.
Well, you're gonna have to go watch that later. It was a good video. Um, okay, I don't know if I even see the go in here, but I think I see a bunch of answers already.
I do. I got it. I'm on it. So I just
Okay, there's
refresh.
the go. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
hit refresh after
the
it gets in.
first guess is gorilla. Okay, so it's gorilla. The first person is Space Cowboy. The second one is Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker. Number 3 would be
Yep.
Matt Wing. Number 4 would be Echo Leaf, and number 5 is Joseph Lopez. So tonight, Joseph
Oh,
Lopez, you won another GA.
hang on, I got it different. You have to hit refresh on that. So we're taking the fifth answer. One, two,
Yeah, it's gonna be the
three.
5th
Oh,
answer on my screen though.
I have Echo Leaf as number 5 after you refresh. So when you do these, I learned this by watching other channels. You have to refresh to get the order. So I have Echo Leaf as number 5.
Yeah, it's gonna be Joseph though. We're gonna go off my screen.
Oh, okay.
Um, because everybody's screen's gonna look different. Yours is gonna look different. Echo Leafs is gonna look different. 949 is gonna look different.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
they don't. YouTube does not put this in a specific order to everybody. It's really annoying. That's why people use the random picker more than anything. I
Yeah.
don't know how to do it on this. I mean, well, maybe we can bring it down to the screen here, but I'm not sure how to even capture all the names. We'll have to figure that out. I think there's a way to do it, but we'll have to move the camera over in the future. But for this one, it'll be Joseph Lopez. Some of your information on that, and we'll be doing more of these guys. We're gonna try to get a live stream out once a week. Lots of good videos coming, and if you guys haven't checked out the last several videos, I've got one that talks about $75 silver, what that's going to look like. I've got one from earlier this week that talks about my belief on where we're at in the market. I don't think we're going back down to $30 or $35 silver. I wish we were, but I don't think we're doing that. I don't think we're going back down to, say, $3,200 gold. I just don't think we're going to go down there right now. I could be wrong. I may not be right, but I think we're going higher. And I think we're going to go quite a bit higher before we have a substantial pullback or correction. But you have to remember, when things go up, they do tend to come back down. But the trend is moving up, in my belief. So until next time, guys, peace out. Thank you for coming. Share the channel with other people. We've got a goal of getting to 17,000 subscribers by December 31st of this year. If we do that, I'll do a 10th ounce gold giveaway of a Spanish Toro. If not, I'm going to keep it, and we'll figure it out. So until next time, peace out, and you guys have a great evening.
Take care.